Hi, I want to pull tarot cards for you, for me. We're going to untie a knot that is within us, and I'm going to tell you what my knot is. My knot is in fate and free will. So if you don't know me, I'm an astrologer, I'm also a painter, and I tend to love digging to find the undeniable answer for the thing. I've concerned myself with metaphysics, with creativity, with painting, and general philosophy around these things. In my studies over the last 5 years, I've found it's endless. And so, as an astrologer, it's easy for me to understand that astrology is also endless. Life doesn't ever end. Yes, it does in the physical, but I have a hunch that consciousness goes on forever. I can't prove that. The pros and cons list, or rather, the basically my knot is whether all of the woo is real or whether it is not. The proof that I have that it is real is astrology and love. Specifically with love, it is past lives. It is the total and unfathomable relationships that I have had to certain people in my lives, in this life, which do not equate to the input of this life, if you will. So while I don't have past life memory recall at this point, or like, I it only makes sense to me if there was pre-existing content between people. But these thoughts only came to me through relationships basically. So my question for you is, what is the knot that you are untangling? Because this is my knot. I think if I can allow myself to sit clearly on one of these ends, which is that no, the woo isn't real, or yes, the woo is real, and I'm not going to worry so much about making sense of it, because you can dig forever. You can dig forever in any direction and get as much proof as you want. That much I know. But my brain loves to play in the duality of it all, and I wonder what your knot or block is, because it is just as simple as what I just said, right? What is true, and the more simple the answer, the more correct it is for each of us. But I do think that actually coming to the severing of the gordian knot, if you will, just cut it in half. Don't try to undo a big complicated problem. Simply cut it in half. Like, if you really are just trying to let go, just chop it in half, right? That's the gordian knot analogy. Like, don't become so identified with the complications, just make a clear cut. So this is going to be the reading of what's going to help you make this clear cut. And I know that that's what I'm seeking in my own life, and I wonder what's going on in yours. So call to mind whatever this complication is, whatever the storyline, who is ever involved, the things that in your life keep you essentially crucified, right? On a cross. Like, you got two poles that are not unified. And I personally believe that our evolution and our success comes from collapsing incoherence. And so this card that I will draw will be whatever will aid you in the slicing of this Gordian knot. So here are my cards. I will shuffle them, and I will take whatever card comes out first, and I will read it upright, regardless of how it shows up. So let's shuffle and pull. I got the Queen of Swords. I ended up pulling this card for the last one of the last YouTube videos I also made, and I pulled this for Uranus in Taurus. And then someone left a comment saying how much this was emblematic of Uranus and Taurus, and I hadn't thought about it this way, where Taurus would be kind of like the queen. Taurus is, um, materiality of life, and really having what you need to not only to survive but to thrive and enjoy life and all the sensory reality. And that really is the queen. The queen is personal. She's of the same rank as the king in terms of structure and power, but she is the polarity of that level of mastery, which is about the personal. The king is much more about social and institutional things, whereas the queen is about the personal. And the sword is all about cutting through, right? That's the Gordian knot that I'm saying it's time to cut through. And that's where this Uranus and Taurus comes together. So my read on this is that what is helping us slice through whatever these big complications in our life is, I think the way we are cutting this Gordian knot is through this Uranus and Taurus intelligence of material reality, like returning to what is true and visible and tangible, not to um, not to devalue the unseen, not to devalue the power in what is invisible, like invisible resources, but to act on the known. You can act on the known without dismissing the unknown. But if you try to build off of the unknown, you will only continue to build things that are unknown. And so I think that's the sharpness, that's the clarity that's helpful, which is to say we take action, make decisions, think clearly based on what is tangible, based on what feels good, okay? Feels good, Uranus in Taurus. Feels intelligent, what feels instinctually like it's right for you based on your sensory reality, based on your pheromones, based on your preferences. Sensory. So that makes a world of sense to me regarding this Gordian knot. The way I take it, again, is really just simply working with the resources that you have, which is Taurus, working with what you have and making intelligent decisions based on enjoying reality. I think many of my Gordian knot complications come from this weird consideration of morality, and if we should allow ourselves to choose our decisions based on present moment pleasures or um, like a long-term strategy. And I think everyone is kind of built differently. I think of Scorpios when I think of long-term strategy, and I think folks with like a lot of Scorpio in their chart, their instincts, their material instincts might actually be a bit more scorpionic. But like I'm very Taurus. I have a Cancer moon, Cancer sun, Taurus moon, and I'm very much so. I need to make my decision based on what's happening right here, right now in my material sensory reality. And whatever that structure of material sensory reality is for you, that's the thing you have to live by for your personal life, and that's how you got to make your decisions. So and it's not about morality at all. This is not about higher philosophical ideals. This is about executing on what you have right here and right now, what you have access to. And I think that's brilliant. And I really love this. So that is what I have. I hope you have a wonderful time. I do personal readings, so do book a personal reading with me for astrology. I will pull one tarot card in the reading. So yeah, that is all. Bye for now. Much, much, much love.